Oh, yeah. No, it was
Yeah. No, it was out of time.
Put it all official and at least for breakfast.
Yeah. He's so thrilled about that place. Yeah. No, that was actually was he was in his scrubs?
No. I heard from the acquaintances that he was off shift.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's one of his last in-house calls for the emergency general surgery division, because those are a killer. He didn't get home until like 1:30 the following day. He went in at 5 p.m. So those are long. Too long. Yeah.
Chief, are you ready over there?
Yeah. Well, now.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the second meeting of June for the Mount Vernon City Council. And first item on the agenda is to approve the agenda. And I'm going to begin with, surprisingly, E1 and G1 that we're not ready to address at this point. So they're going to stay tabled at this point. So hopefully that's too close. Any idea?
I saw 3 emails this week, so, or last week. More than I've seen in a month.
With that,
I would move approval of the agenda.
Sorry. Say Paul on that one here. Scott Paul, move second to approve the agenda with the E1 and G1 exception. Ready to vote on that? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. We obviously have 2 council members that are not able to be here today, but we still have a majority. We're still going to have a meeting. We're now at the communication point of the meeting, and there are agendas in the back. If you're here to address a certain item on the agenda, then you can speak at that time. If you want to take advantage of the public comment time, now's the time to come forward to the microphone, hit the button, make sure it's on green, introduce yourself, address, and name, and start the clock.
So I'm ready.
Yeah, you did.
Guy Blue is my name, live on the north side of town. I'm here to support Christine Latham, who is having a water problem. It's not unique to her, it's also a city water problem. I think she's distributed some photographs, and we're not here to do anything other than to explain where we are and ask for what kind of assistance we can get from the technical staff of the city, because basically what's happening, the neighbors next door in their improvement project put in a pretty substantial amount of concrete in their garage and then making a separate parking place to the left. So it took away a good deal of grassy absorption around. Secondly, they replaced the drainage system for their house from the gutters. It was underground and entering onto the grass. And they're now above ground, entering and directing the water directly onto the concrete. So that's all now flowing. That's the dominant estate, as you know, in real estate law. There's a dominant Serbian. We're the Serbian estate. And right in between happens to be the city alley. So that's why I think it's sort of a joint problem. If you've been by there, you'll see that a good deal of the city's gravel is now in the middle of 6th Street Northwest. And that's not going to get better. So Christine has been dealing with landscaping architects to see what could work. There's been a proposal for maybe a French drain on her property that would intercept the water which has entered her house, and she's had substantial damage in her basement. But that doesn't solve the city's problem if the water rushes across the alley and deposits the gravel in this French drain, filling it up. So we are consulting with other architects. We're thinking of other solutions, but our solution really can't be independent of what the city will need to do to protect and maintain that alleyway. So that's the point of being here tonight, not to make demand. We're looking for communication so we can work together on this. I don't know if you have questions about the photos that Christine has provided to each of you, but you can see the expanse of concrete, you can see the water drains coming directly out, and the last photo is the damage in her flooded basement. So those are the things we would like to engage in communication with the city on, because we cannot afford to be spending substantial sums of money that won't correct your half of the problem, and the problem would not be long-term relief for her if that continues to flood and erode into this subservient stage. So with that, I wonder if you have any questions or any suggestions on how we might go ahead cooperating on this project.
I have one clarifying question here. I thought one picture shows the two tile lines coming out. Are there more that aren't in the range of the picture here? Or the two?
Just two.
Just the two, okay, so I'm missing it.
They dump a lot of water.
Okay.
I have also a photograph I've taken of all the gravel at the end of the alley that's now over the sidewalk and moving into the street. I didn't have time to print a picture, but I can share it with my computer. You can walk by too.
And this is obviously an item that came up after the agenda was made in the public, that this you're addressing it in public comment is appropriate. But and we've allowed clarifying questions if there are any. We're obviously not going to make a decision right now. We're not going to debate it right now, or argue one way or the other about it. But, yes, Kristen.
Did you? I sent all of you two videos that I took of the water actually moving. I just want to make sure everybody had it.
Tom, is there anyone that I should direct my communication toward as the city is contemplating what could be done?
I'm sort of catching up with my life here, catching up with information for this meeting here. So, and I know Chris sent us something about a response that, or a possible.
You can direct your correspondence to me, but I do not want to give anybody any false hope. We don't maintain alleys. We have this situation on a number of alleys where we allow people to rock over the alley. The neighbors haven't done anything illegal. If the two neighbors would like to seek remedies in court, that is up to them. But you can direct correspondence to me. I just don't want to give you any impression that I would be able to do anything in your committee.
Well, I've always felt that the Mount Vernon City Council likes to see resolution of issues, and I thought I would present that to you so you know what issue it is. Christine is not interested in litigation to try to solve the problem, and again, we have to deal with the fact that we're adjacent to city property, so that complicates.
Is it our assumption that proper building permits were obtained to do all of this work on the house? I don't know if you've done any research.
So they don't, a slab doesn't require a building permit. Daylighting, downspouts does not require a building permit. Anything under a half acre or less does not require any stormwater detention. That's why residential houses do not. Subdivisions will. So when the subdivision is put together, that's why you see detention placed in them, but individual lots are not required. The homeowner, if they were to take their tile, put it across the alley and directly daylight it onto Christine's property, is something that we can do it, but they do not. It sheets to an alley. We do not maintain alleys outside of trimming when we need to. So homeowners will buy rock if they want to, but alleys are no longer needed by the city. They're generally just access points for residents.
But I think you wisely and accurately that we would like to get it jointly resolved in favorable
Okay.
for as many parties as possible. Okay. We'll see where it progresses. Thank you. Next item on the communications agenda is Joe Marini from the Cedar Rapids County Solid Waste Agency for his annual visit with us.
All right, Mr. Mayor, Council, thanks for having me back. I appreciate it. I am the interim director of the Solid Waste Agency right now. So here to give our annual update on services programs, and I do have an update on governance and capacity as well this year. So jump right into it. I believe you guys have a copy of my presentation. So just to give everyone the background of who the Solid Waste Agency is, the agency was formed back in 1994. That's when the City of Cedar Rapids and Linn County combined under a 28E. So we're not part of the City of Cedar Rapids, we're not the county, we're a standalone agency similar to the Eastern Iowa Airport. We have a 9-member board of directors. We have 6 officials from the City of Cedar Rapids, 2 Linn County supervisors, Brandon Maischide and Sammy Sheets, and then 1 appointee from the City of Marion. And we operate 2 locations. Site 1 is Mount Trashmore, the closed landfill that's now the recreation area. Site 2 is the landfill recycling location north of Marion on County Home Road. And then Site 3 is our compost location. So we'll start first with our compost update. Just let you guys know that we do have screened compost available, and that is available to all Linn County residents for no charge, as long as we have a supply. I have to qualify that now because people clean us out quite often, but right now we do have a supply of screened compost, and a resident can come with their personal vehicle and take as much as they want. And I have to say personal vehicle because we were running into issues of people renting dump trucks and dump trailers and wanting just to take as much as they could. So now it's like, you can bring your dump trailer, but you're only going to get as much as we can put into the back of a pickup truck. If you want more than that, then you're going to pay the commercial rate. We do also have wood chips available to residents for no charge too. So Linn County residents, free wood chips, free screened compost. And then the Mount Trashmore trails are open for the season. We're doing the Mount Trashmore Challenge once again this year. That's going up and down Mount Trashmore 140 times. That's the equivalent of scaling Mount Everest. We've already had 10 people who have finished it, which is pretty impressive. And we're hoping to break last year. We had more than 300 people signed up. We're trying to get to 400 this year. So encourage anyone, if they haven't been down Mount Trashmore yet, come and check it out. Jumping into tipping fees quickly here, I just want to let you know, right now the tipping fee for garbage is $50 per ton. On July 1st, that is going up to $53 per ton. Just want to remind folks that although we're a government agency, we don't receive any taxpayer dollars. The tipping fee that we charge for garbage pays for all of our services, programs, and operational costs. So $53 per ton starting July 1st, but our flat fees for residential vehicles are going to stay the same. So if you're in a regular Toyota Camry or a Chevy Impala, it's a $12 flat fee. SUVs, minivans, and crossovers, it's a $15 flat fee. And then pickup trucks and full-size vans, it's a $22 flat fee. But that's like, if you come out in a pickup truck and you have 1 bag of garbage, you're going to get charged $22. I've had people come to my office and yell at me about that, but I could have, got an extra garbage sticker at home and it would have saved, only cost me $2. I'm like, yes, please do that. Yeah, come out, if you're coming out to us, get your money's worth, make sure you have a lunch fit. Otherwise, use your curbside services, especially in the community. I know you guys are Soap Republic, correct? You have good curbside services, go ahead and take advantage of those. The other price things that we are changing, the compost location, yard waste is going from 32 per ton up to 35. The minimum is staying 15 per load. And then a couple of our other services that have a fee are staying the same. Tires are still $4 per tire, 5 if it's on the rim. Appliances, it's $10 per appliance, that's not changing. And then TVs and computer monitors, they're staying the same, $15 regardless of size and weight. And then our recycling services that are remaining no charge for all Linn County residents. Scrap metal drop-off, no charge. Household hazardous materials, so paints, chemicals, stains, cleaners, no charge for those. Commingled recyclables, that's your curbside recyclables, paper, plastic, things like that. I know, give you guys the update. People always ask, does it really get recycled? And I always tell them, cardboard gets recycled. Paper gets recycled. Aluminum steel cans absolutely get recycled. Plastics, that's the big one. It's all about the number on the plastic. 1s and 2s get recycled. It looks like potentially the markets for 5s are coming back, but everything else, 3, 4, 6, 7, it doesn't get recycled. So if you're putting it into your curbside loop then, just, if it's a 1 and a 2, absolutely put it in there. We're waiting to see on what's going on with the 5s, but everything else is garbage. Go ahead and throw it away because when they separate it out at the recycling sorting facility, they can't find anyone that wants to buy those 3 through 7s, so they get thrown away anyway. So 1s and 2s, that's the way to go with plastics. Let's see, used oil, can drop that off for no charge. Batteries, I'll talk a little bit more in a second. Old clothing, we still have our partnership with St. Vincent de Paul, so all the clothing is getting reused or recycled. Hardcover and softcover books get recycled. All other electronics besides TVs and monitors, we take for free. If you can plug it in and it's not an appliance, we'll take it. So even old vacuum cleaners, stereos, DVD players, things like that, bring it on in. And now we do take CDs, VHS tapes, and DVDs, and including the cases they come in. We work with Goodwill. They have a technology side of things where they recycle those, so you can drop those off. Old bicycles and then medical sharps and syringes are still no charge to drop off. That's all inside our resource recovery building on the County Home Road. Just to talk a little bit more about the battery recycling, we're doing a pilot project right now with several of our communities here in the county, including Mount Vernon, where up in City Hall there's a box for people to drop off batteries. The reason for that, we know, depending, it's a 20-minute drive at least to go from Mount Vernon up to County Home Road. If you live in Fairfax, and even it's the same thing, it can be a hike. So we want to make it easy for folks to recycle batteries just because of the issue with batteries causing fires in the landfill. Dubuque just had a pretty decent sized one 2 weeks ago. We have one, fires start monthly out in our landfill. We catch them right away. They're pretty visible when they do happen. Our staff, they actually know what the smell is now from when those lithium-ion batteries, when they get cracked open and they go up, they know what's happening, so we prevent it. But just to make it easier for everyone to recycle batteries, we have these battery recycling boxes, and this is a pilot right now. Eventually, we'd like to buy some permanent containers, and then we would go around and collect them, just seeing where we're getting the most action right now. So please continue to use those. We appreciate it, and we thank you for being a partner in this pilot program. Some other partnerships I just want to mention briefly. We still work with Willis 80 on mattress recycling. This is the only mattress recycling program in the state of Iowa. This is at Willis 80's location over on 1st Avenue, Southwest in Cedar Rapids. You take a mattress there, it only costs $10 to get rid of it versus bringing it to the landfill where it costs $20. We actually are paying them to take some of those mattresses, helping subsidize the program. They now have a full-time crew of 6 people working to demanufacture them. They have outlets for all the material, the foam and the things they pull off the mattress, they pull off the metal. So it's been a win-win because mattresses extremely difficult to landfill. Our compactor weighs 110,000 pounds. It goes over top of the mattress and pushes it down. The second it gets off of it, they just start coming back up. And imagine Levitt used to come out with 20 or 30 at a time, so kind of a nightmare. Now Levitt takes them down there, so they're saving money. We're saving space in the landfill. It's been a great program. And we are also continuing to work with Central Furniture Rescue on diverting materials. We get a lot of people that come in with a pickup load of garbage. They might have one decent looking chair, everything else is trash. We'll ask them, hey, do you mind putting that chair to the side? And then we have a couple containers that Central Furniture Rescue has staged. They come out about once every 2 weeks. They have a full container of old couches, chairs, tables, and then they help people who are emerging from homelessness into the housing for the first time to help furnish those homes. So that's diverting tens of tons of material each month too, so another really great program. The reason this is so important is last year we landfilled about 182,000 tons of garbage. So a lot of material. Of that, 30% is municipal solid waste. So that's the garbage that's picked up curbside in City of Cedar Rapids, City of Marion, Mount Vernon, Center Point, and other communities. The majority of the waste that we receive is commercial and industrial. So 70% of it is commercial and industrial. And this year, the last couple of years I've been coming to you saying, hey, we're at 180,000 tons or 185. We're doing a good job keeping that number down. With the data centers, it looks like we're going to be back up over 200,000 tons, but these projects are going to generate anywhere an additional 20 to 30,000 tons of garbage. And it's garbage that we have to accept because it's coming from Lynn County. We said, hey, we'll release it to other counties, but nobody wants it. So there's more tonnage coming in, which is the issue because we are running out of space. The agency's charge to 28E ends in June 30th, 2044. However, it looks like with our landfill capacity, we're going to be full sometime in the late 2030s. I think when I was here last year, it was, I told you, 2037. Through our diversion efforts last year, we got back up at our last airspace analysis. It was going to be February of 2039. Now we're getting all this data center garbage, so it's probably going to push us back down to the 2038 realm. So regardless, we know that we're going to be full before 2044. There is space out at County Home Road. We are not allowed to use it because we have a settlement agreement with the City of Marion. That has led to some talks with the City of Marion because they realize this is going to affect their residents as well. They want to see some changes before they would consider allowing expansion. That led to the formation of a working group that was comprised of officials from the City of Cedar Rapids, City of Marion, Lynn County supervisors, agency staff. We had a representative from local industry, and then we had one representative from our smaller communities. We had the city administrator from Ely, LD Miller was on this committee. So they came up with a series of recommendations, which included Marion would like to see a change to our governance structure. Like I said, currently we have 9-member board of directors. They want to see that increase to 14. So Cedar Rapids would keep their 6 seats. They would appoint 1 member of local industry for a 7th seat. And then Marion would get 3 seats, Lynn County supervisors would get 3 seats, and then one of our smaller communities would get a permanent seat for a total of 14. And then Marion would also like to get a host fee for all the garbage coming in. So starting immediately with the pass, they would get a cut of every ton that comes in. So they would get a base $250,000 per year plus $1.25 from all the municipal waste, $1.75 from all the commercial industrial. So there's some other recommendations that went along with that. Marion has accepted the working group recommendations. Lynn County has accepted the working group recommendations. Cedar Rapids has not voted on it yet because they want to see the full site being allowed to expand. You have to have a certain amount of setback from our boundary. Right now, our agreement with Marion says we have to have an 1,800-foot setback. If we could go down to a 600-foot setback, which there's room for that, we would have space until the 2060s. But Marion is only proposing allowing a 450-foot setback. So Cedar Rapids, there's discussion on whether or not they'll allow the full site. So it's kind of been a holding pattern right now. That's why I came later in the year, because I was waiting to see if it would be sorted out by now. It hasn't been, but I wanted to get here before the end of the fiscal year to let you know what was going on. So if there is a change, if it goes one way or the other, if it ends, we stay as we currently are, or if Cedar Rapids accepts the working group recommendations, I'll be back to give you a brief update. The reason this is happening is because there's not going to be a new landfill once the current one is full. There's just too many zoning restrictions. There's no parcels of land left in Lynn County that we can build another apples to apples to what we have right now. So when the landfill does get full, we're going to operate as a transfer station. So basically what we do right now with the recycling, we're the middleman. People come in, drop it off, it goes out someplace else. That's going to be the same thing with garbage. The bad news with that is transfer is the next cheapest option after landfilling. But even that being the next cheapest option, it's going to cost almost double. So instead of it being $50 per ton, when we go to transfer, it's going to be closer to $100 per ton. And that's why the tipping fee is going up a little bit each year, so we're ready for that when it does happen. But in the meantime, we are still open. We've got a lot of great diversion programs here. We're trying to get everyone to utilize those because we know at the end of the day, some things can't be reused, they can't be recycled, they can't be composted. So that's what we're trying to keep people info for those things that have to be thrown away. Any questions?
Thanks for giving us the reality of this.
Yes.
Adding of an industry basically with data centers. That's impacting just like the ratios and floods did, the capacity of that site.
Yeah, the ratio took away 2 years of airspace in 6 months, so that we were getting slammed with it. And the floods too, like the top 30 feet of Mount Trashmore is all flood debris. And so that's 430,000 tons right there. But there was a lot of material before we get Mount Trashmore open. It was all coming back out to the landfill, so that took years away as well. And who knows when the next derecho or something's going to happen. That's the scary thing.
Any other questions? Joe?
I just appreciate the update and all the good work you guys are doing.
Appreciate it.
Especially like the partnerships with St. Vincent St. Paul as well as Central Furniture. I use them and they're a great resource. I've been in their facility watching people getting furniture, and it's a very compassionate process. You can tell that people that are working to pick themselves up aren't made to feel lesser. They're made to feel like this is a shopping excursion. These are the wares you have to choose from, and I've seen really good positive outcomes. I think it's a great organization.
They came out and they trained our staff when we were starting this program, and they're like, just think of this threshold. It's like, is this something that you would give to your best friend?
Yeah.
And so that's what we go by.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your report reminds me that it's probably time for me to check with Republic on our diversion rate. We get from a rep how much, over a quarter would say, how much Mount Vernon went to garbage and how much was to recycling. And we can compare, are we diverting 30%, 40%? The last time I checked, like 32% over a quarter, which was a good percent, is what I was told by Republic, as far as not sending it to the landfill, and recycling it in some form or another there. So
Yeah, that's good numbers.
it's time to check it again. Thank you very much, Joe. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have a retirement recognition. Tom Kirby. Where do we begin with this?
Where do we begin with this? Turkey like turkey. Yes, right. All right. All right. As some of you may be aware, Officer Todd Gerke has submitted his notice to retire effective July 5th, 2026. Todd has been an officer for 24 years, starting as a reserve at Mount Vernon in 2002. Officer Gerke has had an amazing career filled with highs, lows, and intense situations. one of those situations I'd like to focus on for a moment. On October 5th, 2025, Officer Gerke assisted Lincoln County Sheriff's Office with responding to a vehicle collision at Highway 1 and Butcher Road. Officer Gerke encountered an armed and impaired suspect who had crashed his vehicle, attempted a carjacking passersby, refused commands, and attempted to flee the scene. After less lethal force proved ineffective, the suspect exited the vehicle and advanced toward Officer Gerke while armed with a machete, placing the officer in immediate danger of serious bodily injury or death. Despite being alone on scene and confronted with a deadly threat, Officer Gerke maintained composure, exercised his restraint, and continued issuing lawful commands. When the suspect re-engaged and resisted arrest, Officer Gerke transitioned appropriately between force options, physically subdued the suspect, and maintained control until additional officers arrived. During the struggle, Officer Gerke put his own life on the line while protecting nearby civilians and preventing further harm. Officer Gerke's courage, professionalism, and commitment to public safety reflect great credit upon himself, the Mount Vernon-Lisbon Police Department, and law enforcement profession. It's with great honor that I present Todd Gerke with the Award of Valor for his exceptional courage, sound judgment, and devotion to duty that was displayed that day. Congratulations, Todd.
Thank you.
With that, all are welcome to an open house for Todd's retirement. That'll be on July 2nd from 11 to 1 at the Mount Vernon-Lisbon Police Department. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
I will miss the joke of the day. It's kind of a high point ever I run into.
You'll still get it.
Yeah, you'll still get it.
Is there a police tradition, law enforcement tradition of like the last shift or something like that? It's like a last call out or something. Is that appropriate?
Yeah, they gave that to Todd. Yeah, Todd's taking his vacation time right now, so his last shift was the 6th, and they dispatched.
Okay, I didn't know if that's an automatic thing or whatever. That's
End of watch.
End of watch, is that the right term? Okay. Well, that's a moving event. I mean, that's a big deal. So appreciate that.
Good job. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Todd.
Thanks, officer. Anybody else here to speak in the public comment of our meeting? If not, we will move on to the consent agenda. We have 2 items on the consent agenda. Everybody pull anything off, or we're ready to move forward?
Move approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you, Scott. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Sheree, moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda, the 2 items. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. E1 we're not acting on, so we're down to G2, Resolution 6/15/2026A, approving the fiscal year 25-26 transfers, last ones for the year.
No, the one resolution approval will actually do all of the transfers. Again, transfer resolutions are the way that we essentially move funds from one portion of the bank to the other portion of the bank. So for the most part, we have some tip rebates that need to be prepaid. We have bulk option sales tax that moves, employee benefits that moves, all of those are categorized in the 40-some items that we have.
Anything else to clean up?
I would move approval of Resolution 6-15-2026A for the fiscal year 2025-2026 transfers.
Paul?
There's I will second, but
That's the second. Okay.
there's on the resolution it says 18, but in the notes it says 15. 6/15. So, whichever one is correct, I would second.
Thank you.
Catch that, Marcia?
I will
You're
fix
good?
that.
Okay. There's a motion on the floor to approve and seconded. And if there are no other comments from staff here to review on that resolution, is a roll call vote.
Taylor?
Yes.
Hanson, Claire?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
And that resolution passes. Moving to 6/15/2026B, approving a professional sanitary sewer and temporary construction easement agreement between Charles W. Neff and the city of Mount Vernon on Ranch Road.
Excuse me, again, this would be purchasing the easement, there will be associated crop loss, I think between 17,000-ish to them. The good news is the money that we're paying here to purchase the easement, we made up in the bid for the actual improvement. So all in all, this project might come in slightly higher than the overall estimate, but still far less than what it would have been.
I did have a question about the crop loss. I read through this thing like 7 times and could not wrap my head around what was happening. So is the 17 and change, is that the cumulative total from year 1 through 9 that we're seeing in this
Correct.
total? Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't 17 this year and 16.5 next year.
So there's a construction easement and then an actual easement, but anytime topsoil is disturbed like this, they estimate crop damage for a period of 9 years. So,
Okay. All right. So it's a one-time for the 17,737. Okay, thank you very much.
I was intrigued by the fact that there are rates established for 9 years of what the loss, whether it's topsoil or compaction or whatever, but that is measurable and is like an accepted percent based upon years, basically.
yeah. Thankfully, the DOT has been down this road so many times, it pretty much kind of set the
Standards out there.
Yeah, standards out there.
Somebody studied that.
With that, yeah, I would move approval of resolution 6-15-2026B, approving the purchase of a perpetual easement for the Bryant Road sewer project.
Is there a second? Paul, who is second to move forward with 6/15/2026B, and I think we're ready to vote on that. Marcia?
Taylor?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Hanson, Claire?
Yes.
The resolution passes. Next is resolution 6/15/2026C, supporting the development of the interurban trail connection, phase 2, Cornell College to Bryant Park.
We've submitted for this section before, we've cleaned some things out, cleaned some things up on the application itself, made some changes. We'd like to resubmit the city's proposed portion, that's if everything gets funded according to the application, would be about 165,000. Could be less, could be more, likely more if anything, but it would still be, even if we were awarded, based upon timing, we're still looking at a couple of years before the property would be in construction.
The sidewalk that was on the south side of Bryant Road, is that considered trail width, or, I mean, or is that part of the sidewalk?
That was part of the sidewalk program,
Okay, which they need to be done.
but no, it wouldn't be considered trail width.
Okay.
Which was done recently. It was done.
Right, I know it was just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Who are we applying to this grant through?
So we apply through essentially Easy Cog. So the way transportation funds are divvied up, the feds divvy them to the states, and the states turn around in Iowa, of course, they divvy it to the regional council governments. And then we apply for those funds.
Just a quick comment on this. In the latest Lynn County Conservation newsletter, the Conservation Board is working on the
Engineering.
finding a company to map in the first section that will meet up with our section. So we're actually seeing headway. Also out on Highway 13, if you're going south from Mount Vernon Road and look to the right, you can see the cut where the interurban used to go. They cut trees down through there, not sure what it's for. As a biker, it feels good to see something happening with the interurban that I remember talking about in 1999 when I was first elected. With that, I would move approval of Resolution 6-15-2026C, Phase 2 Interurban Trail Connection.
Paul, is there a second?
I'll second.
Paul Shree, approved and seconded to support 6-15-2026C. And Marcia, I think we're ready to vote.
Rose?
Yes.
Turler?
Yeah.
Hanson Claire? Yes.
Resolution passes. Thanks for that addition, Paul. Moving to motions for approval. Marcia did not send out a claims list this afternoon, I don't think. So, but the original claims list stands, so.
No. I'm checking my email, make sure it's still connected.
Anybody willing to support that
I
claims list?
approval of the claims list is presented.
Paul, moved and seconded to approve the claims list. Ready to vote on that? All in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Discussion and consideration of code number 314 with Cleveland Mechanical on the pull pump replacement. Council action as needed. Here we are.
As I stated through email, we had some issues with this pump between the time that the quote was submitted and the time of this meeting. So under the emergency powers, I did approve the purchase of this pump for the shallow end, basically. Was not replaced with the improvements. So the overall purchase price is $19,223.70.
Questions of staff?
I would move approval of the plea for quote number 314 for replacement of the shallow end pool pump.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Sure. Moved and seconded to move forward the Cleveland Mechanical bid for the pool pump. Ready to vote on that? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries.
Just, and I should have asked previously, I apologize. Do we know when that would be installed? Time frame on
I don't. And the two things that I would like to say, one, I don't have a timeline on the installation right now. We're managing to get through with the current pump. The second thing that I want to point out, even though that this pump will have more capacity, more potential to push water, more pressure, essentially, it's not a guarantee that the shallow end clay milk is going to still work at the capacity that it's supposed to. So that problem hasn't necessarily gone away. There is a chance that this would push enough water, push enough pressure to have it function the way that it's supposed to. Not guaranteed yet. So I just don't want to give anybody a false impression that putting in another pump or a bigger pump is going to make that happen.
Moving to J3, discussion consideration of amendment number 1 to the WHS Professional Services Agreement. Council action as needed. This is on the cemetery GISing system.
This is another one. I can't say enough about the cemetery commission because they're doing the majority of the legwork, but this $2,000 helps make their job a little easier after we receive the initial dump of data.
Anything we can do to help a volunteer group is a good thing. I would move approval of the amendment 1 with the WHKS services agreement.
Paul.
I'll second.
Scott. And it's been moved and seconded to approve amendment number 1 to the WHS services agreement. I second Paul's comments about supporting the very actively engaged cemetery commission
And I would add, I was at the Memorial Day celebration, which first of all, you did an excellent job, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And secondly, but I do want to give legit kudos to the cemetery commission. It looks fantastic. The work that they have done in just a short amount of time has made a huge difference. So kudos to them and their efforts.
First compliment I got that day was that the very high dead tree branches on the tree that is overflowing, all the guests that are sitting in the grass there got taken down. I don't know who got to take them down, but they were down this year. Just from my point of view, it was looking very dangerous there. Got a motion on the floor. Thank you for the referral, I appreciate that. To move forward with this professional services agreement. I think we're ready to vote on that. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Discussion consideration of upgrading the 8 patrol office rifles for the police departments.
So the city received approximately $20,000 in asset forfeiture funds. In order to try and spend funds in the same fiscal year that we received them, just easier from an accounting standpoint, I asked Chief Blinks to come up with a number of projects that we could utilize those forfeiture funds with. The first with a number of other smaller ones. This is $9,056.46 to upgrade those 8 patrol rifles.
There's a system, I'm assuming there is a system of recycling, turning in or whatever the old rifles.
So we're not getting any new ones. We're just taking the ones that we have and upgrading
okay.
the furniture on them. So, yep.
Even better.
Yeah, exactly.
Good work, sir.
Joe appreciates that.
That's right.
Recycling reviews.
With that, I would move approval of the patrol vehicle upgrade for the $9,056.46.
I'll second it.
And I'll take Shereen on that one. Scott Shereen, who was seconded for the upgrading of the patrol rifles. And if we're ready to vote on that, all in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. Discussion consideration of purchase power agreement with Redline Renewables, the LBC.
The LBC and staff at the LBC have been dealing with an issue on the patio at the southeast corner of the building. In the summertime, when the sun comes up, it gets so hot that the furniture is unable to be used. The windows, while great, do not have shades on that lower level. That one particular east side, the sun just happens to come in at almost the right angle, starting to fade the flooring. It's also causing a number of complaints from individuals, especially the pickleballers that play.
A large number of complaints?
In the morning. So we're trying to figure out, we've been trying to figure out some best case scenarios to help remedy that. My only rule to Matt was that we will not drill through the exterior wall of the LBC. It's a sandwich board construction, and anytime you drill through that, there's potential for moisture to get behind that wall and delaminate. So Redline is the same organization that put up the original solar on the parking lot side and had given us a proposal to do a similar structure on that side where there would be a canopy over that area shading and hopefully cutting down some of that sunlight glare on the lower level. I can't guarantee that I won't come back and ask for shades at some point in that area, but we want to try this first. Redline has given us 3 options. The first is for the city to put no money up front. It would have a different arrangement just because energy costs have increased since the last time that you put solar in. I don't like that option as much, just because I don't like having different rates of return. The second option would be to prepay or buy down Red Lion's investment by about $42,000, and that would get us at the same rate that the current solar array is receiving. And the third option is for us to purchase it outright at $124,129. I don't see enough benefit to go ahead and put a capital outlay of $124,000 out there. My recommendation is either 2 or 3, one of those, but I would really like to go with the buy down of $42,000, keep it with the existing power agreement, and do a partial investment.
Does this extend the time frame on that PPA, or does it?
I don't believe so, not according to his numbers.
Okay.
Now, the current buy down goes out to 2030. They just adjusted the bio ratio.
Sure. So we're basically filling the gap between what energy used to cost and what energy does cost now.
Correct. Now, I will say this, once we add this solar array to the LDC, we won't be adding any additional because we will have reached our maximum capacity for what a line will allow.
Allow at the OBC or allow in general?
At the LDC.
Okay, all right.
Yes. Is it 110?
110%.
110%.
I believe though, Chris, if we increase our square footage, we still could add.
Yes, it would, just with the existing square footage, but you can see we're not. So we can, we can invest a few $1 million more in there.
Yeah. And then get more panels.
Get more solar.
The other question that I had, looking at the schematics, so that patio that we're proposing to cover slopes down from south as you move from the south to the north. And my concern would be that at the southern corner, if it's going to be low enough that kids are going to crawl up on top of it or any of some sort of shenanigans that way.
If you look at, well, I would say this, if you look at the existing array, it's actually low enough if people wanted to tent. Now, the nice part about how it's constructed is the panels themselves are offset.
Yeah, they stick out.
Yeah, so even if you're tall, you would still require some sort of apparatus. Now, I will not put it past children.
Right, yeah.
To attempt.
You just can't, from these, you can't tell if it's, 8 feet.
No, it should be low enough where it's easily,
Okay.
for them to easily, there are clearances.
Would we run into any water or cooling from rain coming after this, like we had at the beginning of the meeting tonight?
So to answer that question, not necessarily. It will sheet off onto the grassy area. That would normally be falling into the patio. There's a drain in the patio.
There's a drain, okay.
It can get inundated on a heavy enough rain, so I won't say that there won't be cooling, but it shouldn't increase the amount of cooling that occurs.
This might actually help, it's going to funnel it away from.
Yeah, it should sheet some of it onto the grass, which would be a benefit.
Mhm.
It still slopes off, basically going to the north, so it can make its way around. But
So it's not tilted to the south? I mean, you're talking about the water sheets and the...
no, it's actually, it would be tilted to the
east one,
yeah.
Well, as someone who has been blinded by the light in the morning playing pickleball and also a fan of renewable energy, I would recommend, or I would move that we follow the city administrator's recommendation to buy down the energy rate, requiring a $42,000 investment.
Thank you, Paul. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Scott. Moved and seconded to move forth the $42,000 option from Red Lion. And did I miss a construction window? Is there a planned time for?
So Terry told me that he's pretty busy in the fall. He's gonna try and do some construction possibly before the winter hits, but more than likely it'll be spring.
Get the steel beams in or something?
Pardon me?
Can you get the steel beams in this?
Yeah, something to that
Year
effect.
yet?
Probably pour some footings or something of that
Did you
nature.
get the switcher ordered that took 2 years for the
Pardon me?
or whatever?
What's that?
There was some bit of electrical equipment.
There's an electric switch.
Yeah, yeah.
It will still likely take. Yeah, I agree with that.
Motion on the floor to approve the Red Lion Renewables contract. Ready to vote on that? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. J6 is discussion and consideration of an engagement letter with Ayers Cooney for the Pogo Properties LLC development agreement.
This was part of the purchase agreement that the council approved when we sold the old public workshop. So Allers will put together the development agreement that you'll approve here in the next month.
That is sold.
One item of note, I don't typically get too excited about what this particularly costs because usually, unless you tell me differently, I try to recoup our costs from the TIF arrangement. So part of that is we will reimburse ourselves from TIF for the cost of the attorneys putting it together.
That new owner is actively in there. Something that's.
Yes.
And not that we shouldn't be concerned with the cost, but the real value is getting it off the city books and getting somebody in there.
Yeah, generally speaking, it's usually somewhere between $5,000 and $7,000 to put an agreement like this together. Like I said, we get repaid, it's just over a period of time out of the increment.
I would move approval of the engagement letter for Taylor's and Coon.
Thank you, Paul. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded to move forward the Ayers Cooney letter of engagement with Pogo Properties. Ready to vote on that? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Discussion and consideration of the quote to repair the 2014 International dump truck.
Well, it's not purchasing a brand new one or even a used model at $80,000 or $90,000. So I feel blessed when the number is $13,047.28. It's a frontline piece of equipment, obviously, it's not snow, so there's really no choice in maintaining it.
Yeah. I would move approval of the repairs for the 2014 International dump truck totaling $13,047.28.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
That's Shereen. Moved and seconded to move forward the quote on the 2014 International dump truck. And time to vote on that. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. We're on to the reports to be received and filed. We have the police report. Thanks for the presentation that was done earlier. Someone here is in uniform. Is she done with the academy?
No, she starts in the end of August. So she's just kind of getting her FTOs the
Oh, okay.
process started. So
Questions, Chief? Moving on to Public Works report. No photos this time, Ellen. I'm disappointed, but I got over it.
I apologize, Lori. I won't make a habit of it. Lori and I were both at leadership training for 3 days out of the week here. So my week was just really confuzzled, I guess. I know we've done a fair amount of tree removal in town, a lot of ash trees, potentially dangerous stuff that we've taken out. we've tried to administer, getting Bryant Court and Bryant Road, that portion, that corner portion of that sidewalk was kind of ours to do, so, as far as the grading goes, we haven't, 5 inches of rain last week didn't help us, so.
It was a hot angle,
Yeah, so we've been, it kind of hindered our mowing as well. So we got some inside projects, kind of some stuff cleaned up and organized and that sort of thing. Some equipment worked on, gave us kind of a fresh breath of fresh air trying to do that sort of thing anyway. But we've been really busy. I apologize for not getting my report in.
Thanks for keeping up. Keeping up. I was in your break room, I saw the big bulletin board, all the projects of this kind, this kind, this kind, this kind. So a lot of them are crossed off, they're knocking them out, so there you go. Parks and Rec report, Mr. Sanders.
Nothing to add.
Questions? Thank you. Here, Parks and Rec. Cole Library report. Grace is out of town, so I'm sure we can do something anyway, so. No discussion items. Neighbor reconciliation report. This is those financial.
Love how quickly we can spend $1 million.
Well, there's that bottom line number, yeah. Questions, Chris, about that one specifically?
It will look different with the transfer resolution. Obviously, we move money around, so some of the deficit accounts that you see won't be there moving forward. The Lynn County grant, we applied for our reimbursement, so that one will zero out likely before the end of the fiscal year. Stormwater is still a point of contention, but I will likely address that possibly next year once sewer once we see what the property tax bill does impact due to us next year, we may be moving some geo debt that is currently being paid by water and sewer to taxes, just to make sure that we're being fiscally responsible to all of them.
Yeah, a lot towards geo fund or geo bond funds.
Yeah, I appreciate the council being supportive of the aggressive payoff schedule. We pay our debt down to the tune of about $1.5 million every year. Comes in really handy when Highway 1 is going to come into play, and we're going to buy down our debt about the same rate that we're going to bring on. So I'm excited. It gives a lot of options to future councils, to future staff, when they're not faced with a 70% debt problem. But I shouldn't say this out loud, but we're not the Iowa City Schools, so that's good.
Tell me about Dave. See reps for different reasons. Yeah. Thank you. Mayor's report. There are 3 things to mention. Today there were 2 planned ribbon cuttings. One was at the new restaurant, First Street, the second one was at business was going in above, it's an antique business above Ann Booth's shop.
Oh, yes.
I can't remember the official name of it. I don't know.
This and that.
This is that. Thank you, whoever. So that's 2 locations that I had planned. Ribbon cutting today, and very close to our neighbor here above, to our left, Crispy Tattoos. I think that's the right name for it. So Scott, you can tattoo up there for your.
I'll get rid of it.
So, a couple new businesses in town here. So, second thing is I'm doing a solar power hour down here tomorrow with ECOG as our partner. And the third, I think I've passed some information to these council members looking for any input on members for boards. Planning and zoning is one. I think one need for Parks and Rec.
Still after
After
tonight?
tonight.
Yes, still after tonight. And a couple other ones for auxiliary boards like childcare, and Shireen's giving me some names, or has mentioned some names, and so still actively looking for people that fit the demographics for those particular groups that have interest in those areas. Needs still out there. Any council reports? Any reports? City administrators reports.
The only thing a couple things I want to point out. Number one, I will be out of the office. I will be in Waukon for the absolute manager's meeting on Friday. I did happen to win a free admission or a free registration to the Iowa League of Cities event in September this year in Bettendorf. If anybody would like to go, it's already budgeted for staff. If nobody additional wants to go, then we'll use it, but I did want to let you know that I want a free registration. And then the final thing is there's 5 Mondays this month. We will have a holiday on July 3rd, so city offices will be closed that day.
Right now, our next meeting is July 6th.
Correct.
Okay.
So there's no issue of, and I think I know that.
I'm figuring it out. I'll be at the family reunion in Michigan, so I'll just figure out what I'll be at this reunion, so I'll figure out joining in. Can we just, you sent out a quick email about the letter that's gone out about the lead. I know I've seen people post it on Facebook. I got the letter, and maybe a lot of us did too. Can we just discuss that?
Yeah,
please?
so I got the letter on Saturday too, and much to my chagrin, I couldn't believe that it said that it was confirmed that I had lead. That was not intentional.
Well, and I was surprised because it just came to residents, so it looked like it was just going to be a generic letter, but then the letter was more like...
So there was a spreadsheet that was provided as part of our visual inspection during the meter project. Somehow, in their Excel spreadsheet, they had one column that was marked, basically couldn't identify or visually couldn't verify. Somehow putting that into B&K's spreadsheet to send the letters out, their computers read that as it was confirmed. So individuals that we could not confirm had, lead possibly in their lines, all received letters that says, we confirm that you have lead in your lines. So we have not. There is no location where we tested or confirmed that lead existed on any pipes, service lines or not. So there will be a follow-up letter as of today that will be coming from B&K that will correct that. As stated from the previous letter, that the city is going to do this every year. We're required to do this every year by the EPA. You're going to, moving forward, get the same letter unless you have your water tested and it comes back lead-free. You can give us those results. You will be removed from that list, but essentially it goes out to 600 and some residences whose homes were built prior to a certain date that I don't have in front of me right now. Similar to lead-based paint, any house that was built before 1977, you have to file a disclaimer that says it might be present. So, again, to all of those, we cannot confirm that there's lead. Our water permit and sampling is online. There's no lead present in it. So, I'm still confused as to why the EPA put this rule into place with no remediation plan on the backside. So we get to scare everybody once a year, about 600 residents with this letter. You can, it does have a lot of good information on there about getting water tested. The city does not pay for the water test, it does not pay for any remediation and service lines. There is insurance that you can get for service lines. But again, you don't have to do anything either. The letter is just to say your home reaches a category where it might be present.
So right now, ourselves, and if people ask us, we should say disregard this first letter because the second letter will come. Take the second letter seriously.
Yeah, so the second letter is going to be much of the same information. The second letter is just going to basically state to the public that we cannot confirm that lead is present in your service line. If you want to confirm that yourselves, you can have your water tested. I will say this, and I'm not an expert by any means. You know, if you have a larger family or more people living in your home and you're cycling through water and it's not sitting in your water lines, then chances are any test would come back with a very minimal amount. It's not just lead service lines, it can be lead solder that they use on the lines themselves. So yeah, we'll never be able to verify, the city will never be able to verify because we're not digging your service line up and you can't see through your walls. So same information stream, really kind of a same letter with the exception it will not say confirmed that you have lead.
Okay.
Valid question though. There we go. Anything else for city administrator report? Anything else that needs to come before this council at this time? Otherwise, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.
You want this put out to anybody?
I have an email from Tasha, but